Welcome in, everyone, here to be back for the season finale. This is Sports Den. I'm Blythe Whealy, joined alongside a familiar face on North Metro TV, J.W. Cox. We're so glad you're back in studio with us.
Called in the closer, ready to go, get it shut down here with the season finale. Happy to do it, Blythe.
Makes it just that much more special to be back here for the finale. But J.W., our teams have been working hard the last part of their seasons.
Absolutely, and we will pay tribute with some interviews, basketball highlights, adaptive floor hockey highlights, a lot to get to, so we might as well jump in, right?
Yeah, let's jump right there. And we kick us off with our girls heading to Williams Arena. We took on St. Michael Albertville Knights. The Cougars just pumped in the quarterfinal as they take that elevated court. This is Kubes feeling it from the corner as she drains that bucket. Three-pointer, but now Miller, the Knights, lines up from three and answers. Of course, they can open, especially pretty wide open. Miller drives, kicks, finding Johnson to drain the three. The Knights have been doing so well with three-pointers throughout this game, but Camille Cummings does what she does best and pops it from three herself. This time, Frost gonna drive here right before half to try to get the Cougars just that much closer before halftime, but into the second half we go, putting it up and in the three-point play opportunity for McCall, staying strong in the post. But Emma Miller breaking free, going past everyone. So many ankles probably broken in that play, but she gets the bucket. And Kraft getting crafty as she finds her way to the hole and puts this in, helping solidify that final victory for the Knights, 69-58. We look at those post-game summaries. Tessa Johnson, 24 points in that quarterfinal, 3 steals. Jacayla Kraft, 19 points. Emma Miller, 15. Tough to beat when you have teams scoring that many, but Sydney Kubes, a lot to be proud of, 14 points in that quarterfinal. And Marisa Frost had a great game too. We look at the brackets and JW.
St. Michael Albertville rode that offense a long way, Blythe, then runs into Hopkins. Hopkins gets the victory, so the Cougars out in the first round, but a big congratulations to our Cougars making it back to state in that 4A tournament.
Joined in studio by some of the Centennial Cougars of this state tournament team. You guys, so glad to have you with us. Camille Cummings, Sydney Kubes, and Marisa Frost alongside J.W. Cox and I. And you guys, for starters, congrats on making it into the state tournament. A couple of seniors, and of course, Marisa, you are a sophomore, but we'll start with the seniors on maybe what were some of those feelings after you played your last game of Centennial Cougar basketball?
You're gonna bring that up again?
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Definitely a lot of emotions.
Yeah. Once that clock started to tick down that last game, I just knew and started crying on the court. But I don't know, it's tough knowing that I'll never probably play in another basketball game again after playing for so long.
Obviously, I'm going to play next year somewhere, but it's really sad that I don't get to play at Centennial anymore and with these girls because I love them all so much.
Yeah.
Marisa, when you look at the run you guys were able to make, and obviously you've got some great seniors to look up to, how big was it to have that kind of leadership on this team to propel you guys to that section title and into the state tournament?
Yeah, it was just really nice because we had kind of a rough start, but then the seniors really pulled through. They led us to wins, and it was really nice.
And to kind of go off of that too, I would think at the beginning of the year, your whole team, what were some of those thoughts that you had maybe after a rougher start to the season than maybe you had hoped? And then how did that transition into the end of the season going as well as it did for you guys? We can start with you.
Okay, sorry. I think we went on that 0-7 where we just could not win. We started to get the team back on that same track where everybody wanted that same motive to win. Not everybody was just negatively thinking about the losses that we had. And yeah, we just turned it around, thankfully. Otherwise, it would have been a really long season. So, yeah.
I agree with Sid. We kind of, obviously a slow start, and we just kind of team bonded. Like, we had a sleepover at my house, and I think that really brought us closer and just showed on the court, I guess.
Yeah.
And you guys obviously multiple sport athletes. You know, we were joking, Sydney, you've been up here for soccer and things like that. But you guys for basketball, it's been such an impressive program throughout, even before when you guys got to school. What do you think it means, and we'll start with the two seniors, you guys have been with it the most. Camille, what does it mean to play for Cougar girls basketball? Like, what do people think of? What do you hope the first thing is people think of when they think of your program?
I hope they're like, wow, they're really good. Like, and we've been good for many years, and I hope they can continue that on. I've loved playing for Centennial, and yeah.
I'd honestly say pride and hardworking. I want people to think like, oh, those girls maybe weren't winning those games, but they still went out there and worked as hard as they could and had the pride for their school and teammates to keep going.
As a younger player, I mean, do you kind of see that and feel that that's kind of the expectations that's been set for you guys?
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to see the little girls there.
It's always good, that next generation, right?
Yeah.
And to elaborate that, we'll stay with you for us for just a moment. Having that senior leadership to coming into being one of those main key players to push your team to the state tournament. Players would tell me, yeah, she's so nervous before the game, but how do you get out there on the court and play so confident and maybe beyond some of your years?
I'm not sure. Kind of just when I get on the court, it starts to flow and my nerves get out and they help me sometimes.
Yeah. And as far as for the seniors, you guys having been able to go to the state tournament a few times with Centennial, some of those thoughts that maybe you want to leave for advice for those upcoming girls like Marisa, who's going to be back next year, what's something that you think is necessary for them to know after you went through it yourself?
Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about having fun, and I genuinely do believe that that is like the best mindset for any sport you can play, is to go out there and have fun, because that's when you're going to play your best, and to not take it for granted because it goes fast.
Yeah, I agree, and just continue to work hard and build relationships, because you'll have that forever. It's not just about basketball, I think, and just I've made some really good friendships on this team, and I'll have that forever.
I want to go to the actual state tournament. Well, one step before, I guess. You guys win that section championship. It's so hard to get there, right? I mean, no matter the sport is, no matter the season, it's hard to do that. And you mentioned the slow start to the season. You're not sure if you're going to get there. What was the emotion like for the team after you guys had kind of bonded so well down the stretch of the year when you get to celebrate that championship?
We're really excited and happy.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Great feeling.
Dancing in the locker room and
Oh
cheering.
yeah, a lot of dancing in the
Yeah.
locker room. You can
Is
ask
that-
us about that.
Is that the vibe of this team?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to
Yeah.
be dancing. That's how you guys are going to
Yes.
exhibit
Yeah.
that? That's
Yes.
good. That's good stuff.
That's what I want to leave for the younger ones. It's my dancing skills too.
When you got to dance,
Yeah.
dance like Sydney. That's good.
As far as, I guess, next steps, we'll start, of course, with the seniors. Something about that next chapter, I know you haven't fully decided where
Yeah.
you're going to play yet, but what maybe goes into that decision? How do you factor in where you're going to go?
I want to be close to my family still. I want to be able to go watch my brother play football. And yeah, I just like to be close to home, and also I want to pursue law, so I hope it's like school like that. So.
That's interesting. A fun
Yeah.
fact I didn't know. But as far as you, Sydney, getting prepped and now ready for upcoming soccer season, you are going to be playing soccer at the next level, and what does that look like as you prepare?
I'm so excited. Finally get some warm weather. I just want to, again, have fun there, work hard, try to earn my place on the team, and hopefully go into pre-med eventually. But yeah,
Yeah, that's really neat.
thank you.
And then Marisa, what about you? I mean, you played such a big role this year. Next year, you'll go into your junior season knowing kind of what the stakes are and what you guys have done so far. What do you hope that you guys can achieve next year? And then what's your kind of your thoughts as what you guys have to do to make that happen?
I really hope we make it to the state tournament again. That would be really fun. And I think we just need to keep our good defense and our good team bonds, and everything else will fall into place.
One of those last questions that I personally have for you is about, I always, when I was playing sports, had someone that I tried to emulate my game by, or someone that I looked up to that was playing at the next level, even further on pro and stuff. Do you guys have someone that you would think about before you played the game of who you wanted to play like? It's fine if you don't.
I don't
If you're like, I
know.
want to play the best version of you,
I mean,
that is a
I
good
really
answer
like
too.
Kobe, but yeah, I don't know. I like Kobe.
Maybe the seniors that we watched when we were younger, like Taylor McCauley was such a standout player, like being able to play like her, Maddie Sanders, the rebounds and hard work on the court. like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also looked up to the seniors. I watched Claire Orth a lot and wanted to be like her. And
It's the beauty of Cougar basketball. You had a
There
lot
you
of
go.
those players you could look up to, and now next generation to you guys. Congrats on a great season. Thanks for coming on, and best of luck next steps. And we'll look forward to more from you next year, Marisa.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
always
you.
awesome to have you guys in studio. But that does it for our Centennial Cougars. A tremendous season. We'll be back here after the break.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Whealy go? Where's Whealy? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
You just saw ladies basketball before the break, but our men's team was on a roll and had their last game of the season too, JW.
Yeah, final season, we knew that for head coach Grant Guzy for Spring Lake Park boys basketball, trying to win in advance and keep that alive, had won their way to the semifinals of the section tournament. 11 wins on the season, kind of up and down. We'll hear from Coach Guzy in a little bit after his final year, hoping this wasn't the final game, but this is a 21-win Orioles squad that they had to contend with on their home floor. Early on, Isaiah Johnson inside, up, down, three-point lead off the jam. How about we play a little more inside with another guy named Johnson? Bo Johnson for Spring Lake Park gets the drop step down inside, back to within 9 points still in the first half. Too much Osseo on the offense, though, for the Birds against the Panthers. Corner pocket, Bernard Omuria. 2 minutes to go, takes the lead up to 19 with that triple. Second half, drive and finish. Peyton Thompson got the jumper, cuts the lead back down to 17. But again, Orioles in transition. They go up to William Kuo, back up to 18 off the transition finish. And that was just too much to handle. The capper again, Nate Vincent, find him, corner pocket, knock it down. And Osseo gets the victory to move on to the section championship game. That was it. The way things closed on the Grant Guzy era. You look at 17 and 17 for Waits and Umoria, 16 for Isaiah Johnson. And just like we saw on that girls' side, a little too much offense for our squad to handle. 76-55. Peyton Thompson, though, a strong 24-point game to close out his year. How'd the rest of the section close out? Well, Osseo collision course with Park Center, and that was a good one, but Park Center pulling away in that one to get the victory, 89-68. Run to the semifinals, though, for Spring Lake Park. Congrats to our squad as well.
Another special guest in studio with us, Grant Guzy. We're so glad you're here with us and celebrating just an amazing career that you had at Spring Lake Park, over 30 years. I guess the first thing that I want to ask you is you had your 400th win at St. Louis Park and Spring Lake Park. Ooh, that's a big difference. But at Spring Lake Park, excuse me. And what was a lot of those feelings maybe that you felt right after you got that 400th win?
It was a long time coming. But,
Yeah, exactly.
it was a nice milestone to hit. And yeah, I was sitting at 399 going into the section final the year before.
Oh, so you're so close.
So we had won section semifinal against Champlain Park, and I wasn't aware of it. My assistant coach, Coach Major, keeps more track of that than I do, but he told me, you know, you got 400 coming up here on Friday, and it'd be nice to get it in the section final while everything got shut down that day. We weren't able to play that game, so it was 399 wins and had to wait until the next season. Going into that first game, our guys were aware of the milestone, and they were ready to go out and get Centennial that night. And you know, it was the first night of playing with the masks on the court and on the sideline, and just family members in the stands too, not the full crowd, but still very special night. And our guys went out, played Spring Lake Park Panther basketball that night, and got a big win to start that abbreviated season and then to get me to that special milestone.
You said it right there, Spring Lake Park Panther basketball, and through 30 years, you're going to have a lot of ups, some downs, some players certainly that you'll remember. But when all is said and done, and people, whether it's your players or the folks that have been familiar with the program, what do you want that to mean to them when they think this is Spring Lake Park basketball, this is what Coach Guzy wanted us to do, and this is kind of the culture that he created?
Our culture was always based on playing hard, playing together, playing smart, doing the right thing, both on the court, off the court, creating habits of hard work on the court and off the court, and having fun playing the game of basketball. 'Cause basketball is, I think, the most fun sport there is out there, team sport that there is out there. And that always seemed to be our culture pretty much every season.
And something kind of going off on that, so JW brings up, what did you want those guys to learn? And I think it's interesting when coaches have been with a program for 30 years, what does that look like? What did you learn from these guys? What's the reverse from that? Being around some of these athletes over the years, was there anything that stuck out?
I was blessed to coach great kids year after year. Great kids from great families that were very supportive. What I learned from them was how passionate they were about the game of basketball, how passionate they were to be successful student athletes, on the court and off the court. I think year after year we had teams that had very high GPAs and guys that really got after it in the classroom, and then went on to be hugely successful, not always in basketball, but more so off the court, once they left Spring Lake Park High School and once they left the Panther Boys basketball program.
You look at this year's team, and you guys go again to the section semifinals, and those guys, as you kind of laid out there, they've been through some things that none of your other teams really had to go through, depending on how long they were, what age they were and class they were. What's going to be special? I know there's a lot of special teams you covered, but this will be the last one, right? This is the only last team that you covered. What are you going to take away that will be special about this year's squad being your last one here at the end of the run?
The resiliency of the group. We were snake bit, pretty much right from game 2. Our starting center injured his thumb. He had to have thumb surgery in late December. So we were missing him. Still won the next 2 games over a decent Blaine team and a very good Andover team. Started out 4-0. Then we got hit with COVID. Going up to St. Cloud and playing 2 very good teams and programs in Sartell and Minnetonka up in St. Cloud, but without Nick Ogile, 4-year varsity guy, 4-year letter winner, senior starter and captain, and then one of our leading scorers, Peyton Thompson, was out. We dropped 2 games there, come back, do a reschedule with Roseville. It was a COVID issue in December. Get those 2 guys back, get that one, go down to Totino and take them to overtime and lose to number 1 in 3A in a very tight basketball game. But then during the month of January, we had more injuries, more illness, more COVID. I was out with COVID for 10 days, missed 3 games. And the only 3 games that I've missed since missing a game back in, I think it was 2005, when I got teed up twice up in St. Francis and then had to sit out the next game.
Not you.
against
That would
Prior
never
Lake.
happen.
That's
to you.
the story
what?
that we need,
That's
right?
it.
Let's go to St. Francis
One
2005.
I learned my lesson that time, but I hadn't missed really a practice, let alone a game, over those 30 seasons. To miss 10 days 3 games. That was crazy. And we went through that losing streak in January, February, where we weren't full strength, but we still battled night in, night out. Lost a ton of close games. It could have went either way. Had they gone our way, our record is pretty much reversed. When we got into mid-February, we started getting healthy again. Guys who had the illnesses were getting healthy. The injury situation was getting better. Stephen Kesty came back to us, and that kind of fueled our run at the end of the season. We only had 1 player who played in all 28 games. I don't know if that's ever happened in the 33 years that I've been a head coach, where we've had just 1 player play in all the scheduled games that we had. We were full strength for 11 games only during the season. And during that stretch, we're 7-4. We'd beat Maple Grove twice, a very good team and very good program. The 4 losses were to Tino Grace, the second time we played them at our place. A good basketball game and down to the wire. And then Park Center and 2 to Osseo. So there's 3 of the better programs not only in our conference, but in the state. Had we been full strength and not had the tough situation, I think it would have been a better outcome record-wise, but how these guys hung in was very special. And that's something I'll take with me forever here.
And I guess something that maybe happened to you after you go through that last game of basketball as a head coach, were there any surprising emotions that came with that closing of a chapter and an end of an era, of course, after how many years you've been at Spring Lake Park? Have you been able to process any of this so far?
Yeah. Winding down the season, I was kind of numb in a way, just like, as I've been playing basketball, coaching basketball, 51 seasons, 51 years since I was 9 years old, and to think that I'm probably not going to have a basketball season next year was weird. I admit, and so those last 2 home games, I kept telling myself, it's about the players, it's about this team, and let's go out, play like we can, have fun. Told myself, you have fun down the stretch here. And that last night at Osseo was kind of surreal, and then the aftermath, sad. Bittersweet, that coming to an end, but a lot of great memories. And that night at our place on March 1st was extremely special, with all the alums that came back, and the tribute at halftime was very special and very emotional.
Well, Coach K didn't even get a win at his last game at home, and you got that. So you've got that going for you. I want that St. Francis double technical story, but we'll save that for Sports Den late edition for the after party. Coach, thanks for everything you did for those programs. Great to cover you over the years, and best of luck down the slopes and what you're doing in retirement after this.
Thank you very much. And like I said, I've been blessed to do what I did for as long as I did at Spring Lake Park High School.
Well, thank you so much, Grant Guzy. Proud to have you here and proud to have you on North Metro TV for so many years.
Back with more Sports Den, finale of the winter season after this.
North Metro TV News is your source for local stories. Every day at 2:30, 6:30, and 10:30.
Welcome back here on North Metro TV. This is Sports Den, and our next segment is an interview with a couple of Spring Lake Park Panthers. You guys, welcome back. Welcome into our studio, and J.W. Cox and I excited to have you here. But both of you senior swimmers, Nick Starcevich and Will Privratsly, you guys, you've had a tremendous career for the Panthers. But the first thing I want to ask you is, I guess, how did you feel kind of when it sunk in that Spring Lake Park swimming is done for you guys?
Well, you know, it's definitely a weird feeling, kind of bittersweet. You know, being the ending of the career, it really kind of makes you reflect on how it's been. And obviously, I've really loved my time swimming, but I'm also happy to kind of put the reins down and see what the team does without me.
Yeah, and how about you, Nick?
Yeah, I feel the same exact way. I don't think it's actually completely hit me yet. It's just like, you know, you're just like happy to be done kind of sort of thing because like you've been there just for so long, just like raking in the yards every single day, whatnot. But at the same time, it's just like you look back, all your friends have made over the past 6 years, whatnot. It's just been such a great time and just really thankful for everybody that's been there. You know, it's just like, I mean, it kind of hits me like 3 months after every single season. It's just like, geez, I kind of want to be back at the high school swim team right now, you know? It's just like that sort of deal. It's going to be like really hard when it hits this year, so. Yeah.
You look at that team aspect and something that we've seen as we've been covering more swim and dive here at North Metro over the last couple of years. What is it about being on a swim team, whether it's Spring Lake Park specifically, what you guys know, that makes that such a special group, maybe even more so than some other sports that you might have played or other sports that people might be familiar with?
So swimming, I think, is really unique because what a lot of people don't realize about it is it's really hard work. You know, like Nick said, you go every day, you're hammering thousands of yards, you know, a couple miles every day you're swimming. And the only way to really do that and stick with it is to have such a close bond with the team. Like, I don't go back to swimming to swim, really. I go back because I want to spend time with all the guys.
Yeah, well said by Will. And just like to kind of add on to it, it's just like, you know, you're doing all those yards with everybody. It's just like, it's a smaller team than a lot of big sports too, like football. You know, you got tons of people on the team, but like our team, it was just a little over 20 kids this year. Mm-hmm. So it's just like you just create such tight bonds with everybody on the team. It's just really a great time.
So I saw in previous interviews that you guys have done just talking about your start with swimming, and both of you had brothers that really inspired you to join the swim team. What was that like when you kind of had that realization of, hey, I can be on a swim team, I can do just what my brothers did? We can start with you.
I mean, it was awesome. I remember that kind of feeling of like, oh wow, I'm really doing this, kind of set in my 7th grade year, because my brother and I were actually on the high school team together. And it just feels so good to know, like looking back, if we take like the top 15 times from our school for a couple events, it's like Will Privratsly, Joe Privratsly right next to each other. So like, it's kind of, we're forever together with that bond we had through swimming.
Yeah, and then for me, it's just like, I just kind of, you know, first few years before I actually joined the team, it's just like I'm watching my brother at all the swim meets, and it's just like, you know, that might be something I want to do. Like at the time I was a soccer player, it's just like, I don't know if I really want to do this or not, but every single meet I went to, it's just like more and more I really want to do this. It's just like, you know, I finally get on the team, 7th grade, and it's just, I'm making the best friends I've ever made in my life, just like getting closer and closer to them day by day, just with thousands of yards that we do. It's splendid time, I don't know. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
You guys both senior leaders on this year's team, and obviously you worked your career to get to that point. But when you look at what Panther Swim and Dive was able to do this year, and we can start with you, Nick, what made you most proud about what you guys were able to do as a team and as a unit throughout this season?
Oh gosh. Well, let me tell you, like the things that the things that we did accomplish this year, we've been trying just years to accomplish them. Just like, especially conference championship, it's just, like my 7th grade year, for example, just like meet against Elk River, we're going into it like last few events, we're thinking, oh, we can really do this. Like we even capped for that meet, it's just like we never really do that on our team. Like it was really important to us, but ended up losing. It was like pretty bitter, but coming in the next season against Centennial, comes down to the very last event, but lose that by like 2 points as well. It's just like, finally get the opportunity to do that 4 years later. It's just so nice to finally accomplish it. It was just really a great feeling that I haven't really felt before.
Yeah, something I thought was really cool about this season was actually going to the JV championship we only had a handful of guys compete there this year, but almost the whole team went to support those guys. And it really just kind of shows that we were captains on the team, we were put into a position of leadership, but there is still leadership among the rest of the team, and they really are going to prosper even after we're gone.
And something I wanted to ask you guys too, senior year, and you're having to, like you said, kind of leave those reins to what those upcoming Panthers are going to do for the swim team. What advice maybe do you have to some of those up-and-coming seniors next year of how they should help to lead the team?
Really, I would just say be yourself, you know? It's like, if you're going out there and trying to copy what people above you did, it's just like, you're not really being you, you're just trying to be them, but just like, are you really them? No. So just like, if you just be exactly the person who you are, you're gonna be the best person that you can be, I guess, you know? So that will just kind of set up the best kind of leadership on the team, I guess, so, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd add to that, just kind of have fun with it, right? You know, sometimes it's hard when you're put as a captain or just a leader on the team to relax a little bit, and I think that's really is what's most important. You know, if you're not having fun in the sport, why are you there?
Yeah, that's true.
The last one for me would be, I mean, every time I talk to different coaches, like I said, as we've gotten to cover the sport, they're always amazed at the different swimmers that come into it and discover swim and dive as something they want to do. Obviously, you guys had the family connection and we're familiar with it. What would be your pitch to other students at Spring Lake Park that might be trying to find a sport or something like that? Why swim and dive would be something that could be so fun and such a great option for them to get started with?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the biggest thing I'd say is you can totally get into it at any point in your career. We've had new kids join as 7th graders who had never swam before and do amazingly through their years, and even have new guys join their junior or senior year just to try it out. And really, it's such a great opportunity to be on a team. Like Nick said, it's really a small group. And so if you're looking for a sport, you want to try something new, like swim and dive is that opportunity.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, it's just like swim and dive, it's just, I feel like it's just such an easy sport to make friends with. Just like I said, just like the small team atmosphere. You're at meets cheering for everybody on the team. There's no other way that I've really found through all the sports that I've tried in the 18 years I've been alive that has actually made the kind of bonds that I've made with the friends that I have, you know, so.
Which
yeah.
that's awesome about sports, when you can look back and feel all those friendships that you've made and how impactful that is. And the last thing I would want to ask you guys, being up here with us, is just, of course, you can't leave here without talking about your next steps. I know, Nick, you've announced publicly that you're going to St. Olaf, and I think having a coach that also was at St. Olaf, what impact, first we'll start with you, on what did that make, having that coach maybe pave that way for you? And
it really didn't pave the way for me at all, actually. Funnily enough, it just kind of coincidental.
Okay.
It was just like, I wanted to continue swimming after high school, and going to St. Olaf, I noticed that like it's a pretty small team right now, so I feel like kind of similar to Spring Lake Park, I could fit in really well.
Yeah.
And it seems just like a really great group of guys, so I don't know, we'll just kind of see what happens once they jump in there, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm very excited.
As you should be.
Yeah.
It's always fun to swim at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And are you thinking of maybe perhaps still sticking around swimming, or what are you looking forward to?
So I'll definitely think about it. I'd like to, if the opportunity is available, swim on a club team while in college. But there are also a lot of other passions I have I'd like to pursue. So I really just have to see kind of where life takes me.
Well, you guys, thanks so much for being in studio. JW and I are just pumped to hear about what's next for you and the accomplishments you've made at Spring Lake Park. But thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bloomington Jefferson High School with adapted floor hockey state tournament action. We go to the semifinals of the PI division. Anoka-Hennepin in the black and purple, Brainerd in the white and blue. And unfortunately for our Mustangs, this was all Brainerd. Caden Robinson for the Warriors. Bang, up to a 2-0 lead for that blue and white squad. They were on a collision course to the championship game. Robinson again makes it 3-0. Second half, other end of the floor. Owen Olson set himself up near side pipe, got it done. 6-0 lead at that point for Brainerd. They continue to roll off the draw. It's Robinson again, bouncing puck. Yes, it goes. 9-0 Warriors blank the Mustangs. Not finished yet, though. Mustangs get a shot at the third-place game. The Robins of Robbinsdale, Hopkins, West Tonka, St. Louis Park. It's the only time I'll say that one for you. Jose Leon Estrada gives the Robins the early goal. Leon Estrada helping put them up 3-0 there. Break down to the other end of the floor. Austin Swanson, though, on the board for the Mustangs, and that helped bring some normalcy back. Good time to get a goal on that day after the blanking in the semifinals. But more Robins. Ava Hetteen got in front of the net. Nets it home. Down the floor, Edward Canoga lashes it home to cap it 12-1, the win for a fourth-place finish for our Mustangs. Robins pick up the victory. You see the bracket, Dakota United, a high-scoring squad too, blanking Maple Grove early, then scored 8, and then edges past Brainerd 5-2 to take home the PI state championship.
And we also had the CI division for adaptive floor hockey. North Suburban took on Dakota United. This is the quarterfinal. Getting things started, Mark Van Warren puts it past Pontavian Gilmore to get on the board for the United. But the Cougars strike, and Abby Pass does more than just pass. She finds the back of the net for the Cougars. Up next, you're gonna see a huge play by someone other known as Hugh. Pontavian Gilmore, massive save for the Cougars to help them in this game. Will Ventrelli from distance puts it through, puts it past, and keeping the Cougars in this game. It's a tight one, that is for sure. But Dakota United has another push for themselves, and this is Christofferson who finds the back of the net. You see the celly there. And this game goes to overtime as they try to find the winner who moves on to that semifinal. And putting it in is TJ Lichtenberg. You can tell the fans quite excited about that overtime goal, and TJ Lichtenberg helps them advance in the state tournament. They'll move on, but after that, 3-2 the score in overtime. Semifinal matchup between New Prague and our North Suburban Cougars. This game pushes through, and Ray Parker is on the other end for that goal. That was Aaron Admison with the assist. But now it's Shane Fredrich who finds the left side of the goal, who helps continue New Prague's streak in this game. 11-0, big win for New Prague. But now it's that third place game, North Suburban taking on Maple Grove, who is definitely a tough opponent this game. They think it's done, but it's not. You gotta play to the whistle. Jack Carlson puts it in the back of the net, and the Cougars celebrate this goal. TJ Lichtenberg continues the streak for the Cougars, but Maple Grove Crimson are a tough opponent. You see this one all the way from downtown. That's Sanders putting it in the back of the net. Massive celly for him too. But Sanders is going to find yet another before the end of it. 9-3, the final score. The Maple Grove Crimson comes away with third place. Our North Suburban Cougars will get the fourth place victory after this, and definitely a lot to be proud of for the CI division. Take a look at that bracket. As you saw, of course, who won it, who brought it all the way to the end. That 12-3. So it was a big victory in the end. But our North Suburban Cougars, you saw them head into that third place game after losing to New Prague. So a lot to be proud of in all of that.
So much. And all the athletes and the guests and Coach Guzy that we've had, so much to be proud of for what they did this winter season. So it's always fun to be able to be part of the celebration on the Sports Den finale. Yeah,
it's a state tournament episode. It's a finale. Like you said, you can feel the confetti falling down
that's right.
right now.
Well, Blythe, thanks for bringing me back.
Thanks for being back.
Holding down the fort all season long with Bill and everybody else behind the scenes. It's been fun. And we'll see you November, right? Or November. That's the end of the fall season. We'll see you in the fall.
We'll see you sooner than that. Bye, guys.